we have all of you here. Thank you especially to our Vice Chancellors for honoring our invitation. We know it was very short, but you are here. And to everyone who joined us, our deans, our vice deans, deputy vice chancellors, we are grateful that you joined in on our program, on the webinar. And so at 12 o'clock immediately, Dr. Makuku would start the program for us. So thank you for joining us. If you, Dr. Makuku, it's 12 o'clock GMT, so I think we can start our session. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much to all of you. You are most welcome to this one of the episodes of the Association of African Universities support programs. We are trying to keep the doors open, and we are trying to encourage those who have taken the wait and see stance, so that at least they realize that we can't continue to take the wait and see stance, because, for example, just yesterday when I was watching Al Jazeera, I can tell that we are far from over our problem and COVID-19 pandemic outbreak, because the countries continue to have increasing numbers of new outbreaks of deaths. I don't know when we are going to get to the peak, and it's quite challenging and problematic. And those countries which have gone through and think they were now stabilizing, once again, they start having new cases, and this is highly disturbing. Others are closing up the places they had opened. I know Kenya, for example, they've declared that their academic year is it's a lost year. But if something can be done again to alleviate the situation by trying to make sure now it's time to move forward and build the infrastructure that is needed, the internet services that are needed, that will be very great. So now we are getting into our webinar, and it's 12:02. So I think Dufia has done part of the introduction, and I'm not sure of the very new people who are here, but I just always encourage that if you are already a member of the Association of African Universities, please continue to be active and be with us all the time, so that you don't lose out. These are part of the benefits. And now if you are just joining us and you never knew a lot about the Association of African Universities, you are invited to be a member, and I always give details of the people who can help you, but you can go to www.aau.org, and there we have the registration forms that you can use, and you can also try to get hold of Edith Larry at elari@aau.org. She can also assist you. So I've put the details there in the chat panel. Now let's move on to our program. Our program is such that I will have a few remarks. I think more of it is just to do with thanking you for being here. I see Roslyn and many others. They are the regular participants, and you are most welcome. Thank you, madam. There are many who are like, in the meantime, whilst I'm saying out how we are going to roll out our program, can we type in the chat panel the countries where we are coming from and possibly the universities which we are representing? Is also good news for all of us. Thank you. So we will have the inside story, Edo University, from the DVC of Edo University, Iyamho, and we will have Dr. Mrs. Maliki Miniratu, the Dean of Faculty of Science, also talking to us about some of the challenges. We will have the e-learning facilities, and I think this one will be taken by Dr. Usnomena, Director Academic Planning, but making sure you don't repeat what the DVC will have said. We will have students. You know the way I like students as parts, because in most cases, we find that we put them at the periphery, yet they are the beneficiaries of what we plan. We plan and implement on their behalf, but sometimes we don't even involve them in decision making, and we may also leave them out even to check for the feedback, yet they are the ones who are supposed to give us the feedback of what we need to do better, and what they are finding exciting, and what is going on well. I think we need to take a deliberate effort to always involve them as the beneficiaries of the education system. After that, we will e and teaching learning solutions, and I think here we may have a slight rearrangement. Maybe we'll see how we do it. And then finally, because like Irene has already acknowledged, we have vice chancellors, DVCs, registrars, and all those people, the deans and lecturers, academic and academic support staff with us, and maybe students. And so it would be a great honor also to have the Vice Chancellor himself of Edo University, Iyamho, trying to give us his remarks and comments about the whole event, after which we can have our question and answer session. Like I told you, I always want to have the question and answer session at the end, because sometimes your question will be responded to in the next presentation or so. So who am I? I think next time I will pick those people who have always been attending, to tell people who I am. So my name is Dr. Violet Makuku, the Quality Assurance Specialist at the Association of African Universities, the workshops coordinator here, and also the project manager for the harmonization of African higher education, quality assurance, and accreditation. And all my roles are just at continental level. And that's why I'm so much interested in checking on the countries that are represented here. And this is also a platform where we can talk about the next event. For example, you should attend tomorrow's event, because we are discussing hot issues about internal quality assurance in the institutions and external quality assurance on how we work with the regulatory bodies. What is it that they are doing well? What is it that we want them to improve? And what can we do going forward to improve our higher and tertiary education terrain, so that everybody else can benefit? So that's very important to me. Now, for me, I've got a PhD in quality assurance in university education, which I obtained from UNISA. And in most cases, people are just saying, I just want to do something in quality assurance. Where can I go? They also offer some modules in quality assurance. We also realized that I have an MSc in Curriculum Studies from the Bindura University of Science Education, and that's where I obtained my honors degree in Geography Education. Earlier on, I attended a teachers college, a secondary school teachers college, where I got a diploma in secondary school teaching. When I taught in that university as a teaching assistant, I rose through the ranks to be a lecturer and eventually a director of quality assurance. And then I do a lot of things like marking PhD dissertations and theses, and I also review journal articles. I do institutional evaluations, and it's a relatively long CV, but let me end it here so that we can move into the program right away. So as we are starting, I will introduce Professor F.M. Omodia. Is an indigenous Uromi of Esani, Edo State, and I won't go into the details of these personal things, but I just want to get into what he has done. He was the first to produce a PhD graduate in the Department of Political Science in Kogi State University. In recognition of his contributions to knowledge through research and community development, Professor Omadia has been honored by many distinguished professional bodies, being a fellow certified institute manager and life member of Social Sciences and Humanities Research Association. Yes, Prof. Omadia has also served as a resource person to National Universities Commission on Program Accreditation. He is the Pioneer Dean, Faculty of Arts Management and Social Sciences of Edo University, Iyamho. And I think the list goes on and on and on. So welcome, Prof. Now we want to tell you about, to tell us about the inside story of Edo University, Iyamho, as the DVC of this university. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Makuko, for the beautiful introduction. And we also want to thank you on behalf of Edo University for the good job and indeed the AU is doing for the continent. The focus of this presentation is the inside story of Edo University, Iyamho. And the import of it is that before we go into teaching and e-learning, it will be quite indispensable for the presenters, for the participants to have basic background information about Edo University, Iyamho. And I want to start by welcoming all the participants to Edo University, Iyamho. Participants from Ghana, from Kenya, from South Africa, from even within Nigeria. You are welcome to Edo University, Iyamho. Edo University, Iyamho is a public owned university. It is owned by the Edo state government, and it was established in 2016. And as a matter of fact, the university got approval to start academic activities on the 23rd of March 2016. So that date is often classified as Founders Day by the university. Now, the purpose of the university, of course, is to provide world-class quality education to Africans and indeed Nigeria. Now, the conception behind this is that, you know, there is need to instill confidence into our institutions. And when we talk in terms of institutions, the educational institution is central to the advancement of other institutions. Because if you get it right in the educational sector, you get it right in all the sectors. So the import, the purpose, according to the founding fathers, is to provide world-class quality education to Africans and indeed Nigerians. Now, to be able to do this, we have 6 faculties in the universities. Now, in the 6 faculties, you have a college, the College of Medical Sciences. And the College of Medical Sciences houses 2 faculties. And these faculties are the Faculty of Basic Medical Sciences and the Faculty of Clinical Sciences. Now, for the Faculty of Basic Medical Sciences, you have programs that are not too different from most conventional universities. You have BS in biochemistry, you have BMLS in lab science, you have BNSC in nursing, you have BSc in physiology, and of course, BSc in human anatomy. For Faculty of Clinical Science, you have MBBS in medicine and surgery. Now you have other faculties, 4 other faculties that with those 4 other and plus the 2 other faculties, making 6 faculties. Now for the 4 other faculties, you have the Faculty of Science, and you have such programs as BSc Computer Science, BSc Industrial Chemistry, BSc Physics, then BSc Microbiology, BSc Animal and Plant and Environmental. Then you also have the Faculty of Arts Management and Social Sciences. And for the Faculty of Arts Management and Social Sciences, you have BSc Accounting, BSc Business Administration, BSc Banking and Finance, BSc Economics, BA English, BSc Entrepreneurship, BSc Mass Communication, BSc Banking and Finance, BA History and International Studies, you have BSc Peace and Conflict Studies, you have BSc Political Science and Public Administration. Then you also have programs in the Faculty of Engineering. You have B Engineering in Chemical Engineering, Computer Engineering, Civil Engineering, B Eng in Electrical, Electronic Engineering. Then you also have B Eng in Mechanical Engineering. Then we have the Faculty of Law with LLB Law. Now, it is also important to accentuate that all courses offered in the universities are approved by the National Universities Commission, and courses that are due for accreditation are well accredited with a minimum score of 82.5%. Now, going back to the purpose for establishing the university, the question that comes to mind is that what mechanisms has been put in place by the university in terms of achieving the purpose? Because the mandate, like I did mention, is to provide quality education to Africans and Nigerians. So what do we have? What have we been able to put in place to be able to achieve this purpose? Now you have, in achieving this purpose, I must say that the university management sought to do 3 basic things. And these things are: 1, you have, the first one has to do with the utilization of modern teaching aids, operating on-campus system and functional world-class sporting facility. Now, the teaching aids, of course, that will be shown later, conforms with what is obtainable in any world-class university. And for us, education of the 21st century, we are quite convinced that that is the way to go. Then on operating on-campus system, the conception here is that this is synonymous to e-learning device. E-learning device means that we operate an on-campus system, and the import of that is to enhance the learning capacity and capability of the students. They must be able to have access to internet facility, even from their hostels. Then, of course, they should also be able to attend lectures in good time. And because they are on campus and there is an efficient and effective campus shuttle, that we have been able to achieve that purpose to a great extent. Then you also have a functional world-class sporting facility, which I will also be saying something about. Because now, for us, there is a nexus. If you are talking about sports, for us, there is a nexus between physical fitness and mental alertness. So we also need to enhance the physical fitness of the students by providing world-class sporting facility, and that is what is obtainable at Edo University. So for the first item, which has to do with teaching cum learning age, we do that through a functional multimedia. We teach through the use of the multimedia under a conducive environment. And this is a typical classroom you find at Edo University, Iyamho. Now, the other thing, we've also been able to inject what is known as the skills lab into the training of our health professionals. And we do this through simulation. You have, especially through the use of Siman 3G. Now, the idea behind this is that for the health professionals, okay, before having contact with the human bodies, okay, they would have practiced through simulations, through the use of these devices, and that will enhance their ability in handling human beings, especially under an hospital environment. Now, we do that, and that has been working for us, and it is working well. Now, the second propelling factor is that, see, there are some cases that throughout the training of a student that they may not be exposed to, but through simulation, such cases that can be brought to the fore, and they can have a vivid understanding of how to manage such cases if they are faced with that kind of scenario in the actuals. Now, we also have the anatomage. The anatomage is a device that is used for the training of medical doctors. And when we acquired this, I must mention that we were the first in West Africa to have acquired the anatomage. So the anatomage is part of our assets, and is something that is visible and made manifest in the training of medical doctors as far as Edo University Iyamho is concerned. Now, we also have the science lab. This is a typical science lab you have at Edo University. Then you also have the power lab. These are power lab, and is used for the training of physiological components of medical training. Then you also have the engineering workshop. This is a typical, of course, for engineering, you have different sessions. You have the woodwork session, you have the mental session, but this is the general workshop session of the engineering faculty. Now, there you have the mass communication studio. This our mass communication studio, and for the mass communication, the studio deals with both electronic and print aspects. For the electronic, the TV, and even when we had the Founders Day, I could remember that the visitor to the university was also interviewed. I mean, the deputy governor was interviewed on behalf of the visitor to the university. So this is what we have in Edo University. Then we also have a conducive hostel accommodation. And for the conducive hostel accommodation, I did mention that it is part of the learning age. The students need to have conducive accommodation to be able to have effective learning. And in terms of having effective learning, like I did mention, with on-campus system, they are able to access, they are able to be in their lecture halls in good time. They are able to be in the lecture theaters in good time. We have on-campus, we have campus shuttle, which is also working very well. It's been efficient, and it is also affordable to the students. Then we have the sporting facility. This is the football pitch. It's a world-class football pitch, and on an annual basis we have competitions, meant for the students. For the football competition on an annual basis, we have the BC's Cup. You also have a basketball court. You also have competitions for basketball players who are students. And we also have a lawn tennis court, in addition to other facilities that are available on campus. Now, the second mechanism that was adopted in achieving the purpose or the mandate that was given to us by the government was engaging competent and qualified manpower. And to be able to do that, what we did was to make objectivity our watchword. Okay, we decided to say no. Ethnicism was not going to play any part in appointing academic staff. And the convention too was that we need to also make the university a world-class institution, so properly called, but also engaging staffs both within and outside the continent. Now, this is a typical academic staff, and I must also say this, that most time at the beginning of each academic session, what we have, we do organize trainings for our academic staff to be able to meet up with the challenges associated with imparting knowledge in the 21st century. So this is a staff teaching, through the use of the Canvas learning management system. Then you also have the other one has to do with the students, which is also receiving lectures through the Canvas learning management system. Now, the third mechanism that was adopted was also based on the conviction that there is need to effectively integrate teaching, research, and community service for the good of the system and the society. And in doing this, what we tried to do was to acquire the Canvas learning management system. And the Canvas learning management, and this of course was acquired even before COVID started, and the idea behind it was to take the university to the society, and we have been able to do that by integrating the parents in the use of the Canvas learning management system. So the parents, they have the opportunity of monitoring what their children are doing. They have the opportunity of knowing the academic performances of their students for the purpose of also acting as a check on the on the students. So the adoption of the Canvas learning management system has enabled us to have effective teaching, and has also enables for external observation and monitoring exercise. Now we have, and for this COVID-19, what we have also been doing, I think the question that will also come to is that, this is the season of, this is the period of COVID-19. So what has been the contribution of the university, in terms of managing COVID-19? And I think the university has contributed extensively towards managing COVID-19. Yeah, the first point has to do with the research submission that was made to NUC on this call to action. Now, that submission embodies three basic aspects. Now, the first one has to do with candidate therapeutics response to COVID-19. Now, on this aspect of it, our main focus was on the management of COVID-19 thus far. As we are aware, there is no vaccine, no known drug for curing COVID-19. But what is being done at the moment is repurposing drugs. COVID-19 cases of COVID-19 are being managed through repurposing drugs. In other words, drugs that were used for curing a given illness has been repurposed, and it has been working to some extent to effectively well. So what we sought to do here was to look at the impacts and to also look at how effective it has been. Now, the second one has to do with social science perspective in response to COVID-19. Now, for us, this is also quite indispensable because research has to do with solving human problem. And for you to be able to do that, you also need to understand the perspective of human beings. You need to understand human behavior. As a matter of fact, there are some people that believe that, COVID-19 does not even exist at all. So when you have people with such conviction, then it becomes difficult for us to manage COVID-19. Then we also want to look at what we also did in this aspect was to also look at the impact of COVID-19 in terms of unemployment, in terms of poverty. We also look at the impact of COVID-19, especially when the lockdown was on. The implication of the lockdown, in some states, it brought about social ills. People were moving from one house to the other. They were forcing doors open. They were forcing doors to open, and they were cutting away with their goods just because they needed to survive. Now, the third one has to do with COVID-19 infection prevention and social determinants of compliance with control measures among non-healthcare essential workers in Edo State, Nigeria. Now, the focus here was to look at or to give two broad classifications to essential workers. You have essential workers that are in the health sector, then you also have essential workers that are not in the health sector, but who were saddled with the function of performing their day-to-day activities, even in the wake of COVID-19. For instance, those people that that are in the media, the military personnel, the prison personnel, and what have you. So the focus here was because for the health professionals, the assumption is that the awareness is high. But what about the essential workers who are not health professionals? So this session delved into that, and of course submissions and recommendations were also made. Now, for the COVID-19 too, within the university, I can tell you that we are set for reopening. Even if 24 hours is given to university to reopen, we are set. Though we have been conducting academic activities online, we have been teaching online, we have been administering tests online, we have been administering quizzes online, and the students too have been active in terms of academic activities. The academic staff too has been active in terms of academic activities. But even for those tasks, because in Edo State here, the law says that the officers level 12 and above are expected to come to work. So some of us have been coming to work, and in terms of coming to work, there's need to also make the environment safe for us, even when we have COVID-19. So we have been doing that, and one of the devices that we have been able to come out with in the university is the automated hand washing machine. And for us, this is one of the preventive measures. And that is aside some other devices that have been put in place, like wearing of face mask, maintaining social distancing, and what have you. Now, the question that now comes to mind is that with all these facilities that have been injected, with all this, and what is obtainable, and with all the devices that are obtainable at Edo University, Iyamho, the question that now comes to mind is, what has been the outcome? Now, the first is that the university was classified as third best university by the National Universities Commission in 2018 in the Open Education Resource Ranking. Okay, and for us, this is key. And the conception of management is that, well, it's an achievement, but we are still not there yet. We are still not there yet. Our focus is on the global scene. And on the global scene too, we are also happy to report that we are having upward shifts in global ranking. And the commitment of the VC is that we should make an appreciative upward shift, and perhaps to also be one of the best 10, in the continent. And for us, this is doable, this is achievable. Now, in conclusion, we need to understand, like I said, there's need for us to build confidence in our educational system. Most times you have persistent strike, people are beginning to lose faith and confidence in the system. But at Edo University, I must say, our concept of academic discipline also entails time discipline. And for us, time discipline has to do with graduating our students as specified on the admission letters. We are on course because of the modern teaching age which has been imbibed, which has been adopted in the wake of COVID-19. So I want to say thank you very much for listening.
Thank you very much, Prof. And the culture is dynamic. Instead of handshakes, now we are being told, no, do the elbow shakes. Whether we are now calling them shakes or elbow beats, I don't know what to call them, but that is the new normal. And I think it's important for us very quickly let me revisit some of the key issues that I took note of. World-class facilities. I think when I do institutional evaluations, one of the things that I always check with institutions is the availability of sporting facilities and other clubs and so on. And I think it's important for us to take note that if we don't avail these clubs and sporting facilities, students will turn on to things like drugs. And would you want your institution to be labeled an institution of drugs? No parent can be prepared to make sure their child enrolls in such. So this is one good thing. And from the whole presentation, we are still moving on. What can you compare with your institution? Where do you fall? Let's see here. And then access to internet. Do you have your students having access to internet on campus, and also access to the institutional resources when they are not on campus? Do you have zero rating when students are accessing this Canvas or a Moodle, whatever you are using? Ladies and gentlemen, these are the key questions that I leave with you today. And I hope this session in the war is going to be useful for all of us. They raised the issue of objectivity. At one time, I had a video from Singapore which said, how did they come to be what they are today? The issue of objectivity, the issue of meritocracy, those are the kind of issues they were highlighting. But we know along the way, there are issues of political affiliations, issues of corruption, issues of ethnicity and religion, which I've said many times, these have been documented as some of the issues that can compromise quality and quality assurance in our institutions. How are we dealing with them in order for them not to compromise what is done in the institution? Moodle versus Canvas. Those who are using Moodle, please check with Edo University Iyamho to see what are the differences between the two and share notes. Is Moodle better? Is Canvas better? What is it that is done in Moodle which cannot be done in Canvas? What is it that which is being done in Canvas which cannot be done in Moodle? And how can we bridge the gaps? All these are the quality assurance questions which we can raise. And moving on, global rankings, please join us tomorrow, because tomorrow we are also going to talk about global rankings. We are also going to talk about the ISO certifications and so on, to see the conceptions and misconceptions and the realities which are linked to all these things. Having said that, allow me to move to the next presenter. Dr. Mrs. Maliki Muniratu is the acting Dean of Science. She obtained a bachelor's degree in chemistry from Bayero University, Ghana in 1999, a master's degree in industrial chemistry in 2006, and a PhD in environmental and analytical chemistry in 2017, both from the University of Benin, Benin City. I know that place, I've been there before when I went to Iguinedion University. So I know Nigeria. She is interested in scientific investigation and has published papers in both national and international journals and conferences. When we do quality assurance in research and intellectual property, we are going to visit the national and international journals. Her researches include the synthesis and characterization of chlorinated rubber, seed oil, alkydes, extractions. She is also a member of professional bodies and learned societies, which include the Organization for Women in Science for the Developing World. She is presently a senior lecturer in the Department of Chemistry at Edo University, Iyamho. So something interesting. when we were planning for this event, I think whilst you are preparing to share your presentation, Doc, I said to them, I can see only men and big men. Where are the women? And it's in these higher and tertiary education institutions where we need to address SDG issues. And so that's how the lady came on board. But we need to walk the talk. We are expected to address the SDGs by walking the talk. So thank you for correcting that. Over to you, Doc. We are listening. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good day, everyone. And I'm very glad that I'm here. So today, we are going to be looking at the challenges associated with e-learning in higher education in Africa before and since the advent of COVID-19 pandemic. This presentation will be guided by the following outline.
Sorry, I don't want to disrupt you once you start, but we want you to get straight to the point because, you know, there are a number of presenters and we want to leave adequate time for question and answer. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Doc. So the World Internet Statistics specifies that the first quarter of 2020, 39% of the 1.34 billion people in Africa have access to the internet. Based on these statistics, it means that Africans have more access to the internet now than the global community. It is therefore left for Africa to translate this access to productive e-learning. What is e-learning? E-learning is the use of different types of information and communication technology for educational purpose. It is a technology-enhanced learning form that allows learning to be conducted in and out of physical classes. It enhances the transfer of skills and knowledge to a large number of participants at the same time in close or far distances from the instructor. Research studies suggest that e-learning uses visuals that are more easily captured, remembered, and retained by the brain for longer periods. E-learning uses electronic media such as computers, smart boards, internet to facilitate learning online or high flex. E-learning before the advent of COVID-19. Before the COVID-19 pandemic, e-learning was already functional in Edo University, Iyamho, by the use of PowerPoint presentation in teaching all our courses in the university. Smart electronic boards were installed and used in all the classes and lecture theaters. Canvas learning management system was also deployed in conducting lectures. Functional state-of-the-art e-library was available in the university with well-stocked current and standard e-books. A well-developed internet system that is easily accessed by university staff and students was also functional. And an uninterrupted 24/7 internet connectivity was also available. In this presentation, emphasis will be more on the Canvas Learning Management System, LMS, that has been used in the university for close to 2 years. That was even before the advent of COVID-19. As the lockdown continues with imposed closure of schools with no idea when they are going to reopen, when they are going to be reopening, virtual classes via internet is the new normal method of teaching and should be encouraged. Real-time online or high-flex structural modes of lecture requires broadband internet access for speedy delivery of academic content. Challenges to e-learning. Epileptic power supply is a major challenge, and in the sub-Saharan Africa, it has the lowest access to electricity of between 18.98 to 35.5% electricity supply. Therefore, the epileptic power supply is a major challenge militating against the use of e-learning. Then another challenge is the internet access. And according to estimates by the World Internet Statistics, global internet users stood at 4.6 billion in the first quarter of 2020. This figure corresponds to 60% of the world population of 7.8 billion. While in Africa, 526 million people have access to the internet, accounting for 39% out of 1.34 billion population in Africa, suggesting that African has more access to internet as compared to the global community. It therefore becomes very important for Africans to channel and translate this access to internet to productive e-learning. Inadequate number of tertiary institutions in Africa is also a major challenge. Comparing Africa to United States of America, it shows that there is grossly inadequate university in Africa per population. Lack of adequate training is another major challenge, militating against the use of e-learning. No matter how simple a technology may be, without adequate training, it may be impossible to get best results. Yet, many tertiary institutions in Africa rarely embark on staff training. And in this regard, I give kudos to AAU and Edo University Iyamho for their efforts in the continuous training and retraining of participants in advances in e-learning, just as this webinar is doing. Resistance to change is another very serious challenge militating against the use of e-learning in Africa. Many African academics are resistant to change. Anything that will change the status quo is always, seriously resisted. They prefer to continue with the face-to-face method of teaching instead of moving along and ahead with technological development. Infrastructural deficit, which includes deficiency in hardware and software components needed to support the computing requirement of a cloud computing model, is also a militating factor. The learning management system is also deficient, and Edo University Iyamho prides herself as the only university in Nigeria that uses the Canvas learning management system. Other challenges that militate against e-learning include inadequate funding, brain drain, quality assurance concerns, and security issues. The Edo University EUI experience concerning e-learning. As the universities were compelled to close down with no idea on when they are going to reopen, Edo University continued her academic section using her technology-enhanced learning platform. And because some features of the learning management system were not used in the pre-COVID-19 era, the university embarked on training and retraining of staff and faculty on the use of these LMS features that were not previously used during the pre-COVID-19 era. Students resumed online real-time lecture on the university LMS platform on the 4th of May 2020. Lectures are delivered using video conferencing feature on the LMS, where students and lecturers can see themselves just the same way, just similar to the way they do during the two face-to-face method of lecturing. Lecturers share their screen when teaching whenever the need arises. And after each real-time lecture session, a recorded version of the lecture is shared on the LMS for all students to download offline and use whenever the need arises. In the spirit of ensuring quality of lecture delivered, HODs and deans do weekly review of lecture and report same to the management for further review. Here in this slide, you can see some of our lecturers in Edo University teaching using the Canvas learning management at the comfort of their homes and offices. Then on the slide here, we see our students attending lectures using the Canvas learning management system at the comfort of their homes. Some of the features embedded in Edo University Iyamho Technology Enhanced Learning Platform includes the conference feature. This feature enables virtual lectures to be conducted with real-time audio and video presentation from the computer. Another feature includes the quiz, which is used to challenge students' understanding and assess comprehension of the course material. Yet another feature is the grading. This grading automatically grades students after quizzes are being conducted. Technology enhanced model at Edo University Iyamho interprets with the Edo App Center and Google Meet. The University Power Laboratory and the Anatomy are integrated in the model. Also, YouTube, Google Documents, and Forms are also embedded in the model. Way forward for higher education in Africa includes that the government should increase budgetary allocation for education. E-learning infrastructure should be increased. Common infrastructure to support e-learning should be employed. Functional network and collaboration among member institutions irrespective of status should be encouraged. Leverage on solar energy or any form of renewable energy should be used to augment the epileptic power supply in many African countries that are having electricity challenges. And in conclusion, if the global internet access stands at 60% and African stands at 39%, then there is need for concerted effort to translate time spent on the internet to productive hours for e-learning in higher education in Africa. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you very much, Doc, for a really informative presentation. And what I picked, power challenges, these ones, they are not new. I think we all know about them. And then we have resistance to change. And this one is a real problem. And for me, I check and say, so even the book, sometimes we say, what can be the difference between a learned person and somebody who is not learned? When you can't see the difference, then people start asking, do we still need education to transform people? Is education still playing its role? Ladies and gentlemen, it's very, very sad to know that even the resistance that the virus is there, it's quite ubiquitous and it's everywhere. There are some people who don't even wear masks. Some people who are preaching their gospel that this thing is just something else. There's nothing like that. But what is the purpose of education? It's the question which I will leave you with. But it's most unfortunate for those institutions who are still adopting the wait and see approach when you realize that we are having resurgences, we are having more cases, deaths, and still you are not convinced. The whole world is under turmoil. People have lost jobs. Hotels are closed. The institutions are closed. And all those things still do not convince you that we are in the new normal. Apparently, ladies and gentlemen, when we are having the quality assurance session, I show the move towards the Internet of Things. It's something which is already there. The move towards artificial intelligence, the fourth generation which has come, and it's here to stay. And do you know, we were talking about this fourth industrial revolution even before the outbreak of COVID-19. So whether COVID-19 or no COVID-19, the move was already there. The globe is moving towards a new direction. We are already in the new digital normal. And for this one, if you deny, you will just see you become obsolete, you become irrelevant, and institutions will close. For the next academic year, we are looking at quality assurance in marketing, marketing to get to recruit staff, marketing to enroll students. And where are you as an institution? It means when they see those which are doing the digital marketing, they say, oh, here we know that we are guaranteed of starting our university education and completing. The other one, very, very quickly, infrastructural deficiencies. This one, I want to talk about some of these things after the solutions have been presented. And I ask about students, smartphones and laptops and iPads. Somebody talked about training. We will address also these issues after we have the solutions being presented. Government budget. Are you sure after the COVID-19 or this COVID-19 period, governments will have something to increase on education? If they do, to what extent can they solve all our problems that we need to get to blended learning or online learning or open and distance learning? They're looking forward to the government alone. Don't we need to think of a third stream income? Those are the key quality assurance questions which I'm posing to you, which I think we should also look at. Can we still rely on government funding 100%? Or the state universities? Can't we going to see ourselves also closing down from one program to another, and then eventually a faculty and a department and a faculty, and then the institutions? It's food for thought. That is the reason why we are having this webinar. Now, I just want to quickly introduce to you some Dr. Usonbobu Usonema. Please forgive me. You know, this one is a matter of the pronunciation and where we come from. Dr. Usonomema, an associate professor of biochemistry, holds a Master's of Science and Doctor of Philosophy degree from the University of Ibadan and University of Benin, Nigeria. Major research interests include safety and disease management, oxidative stress and free radicals. Dr. Usonbubu Usonban, a speaker in several local and international conferences, workshops and seminars, is the present director of academic planning, Edo University, Iyamho, Edo State, Nigeria. Now, what I'm always also saying is that when we look at quality assurance, it's the umbrella body. But I see people, they say academic planning and quality assurance, even belittling it. But I think it's also time to revisit the labeling of these departments and directorates. Quality assurance is the umbrella body. under which we have academic planning and everything else. And I tend to have issues with academic planning attached because we then neglect all the other directorates and support departments and chase the academic planning. It's something to add on. Welcome, Doc. Please, can you pronounce for me your full name? Thank you.
Good afternoon, Dr. Makuku.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, dear participants. My name is Dr. Usunobu Usunomena. I will be speaking on e-learning facilities, the Edo University Iyamho story. And by way of introduction, e-learning is learning which we derive or we deliver electronically. Could be using the web browser, could be through the internet, could be through the intranet, it could be through other related technologies and platforms. We are in a global village, and thank God with the coronavirus, education is no longer restricted to school. And irrespective of time and place, with e-learning and e-learning facilities, online teaching is now a possibility. In Edo University Iyamho, there are some general e-learning facilities we are able to deploy through the use of smart boards, the use of audio, video conferencing, software packages, projectors. We have also been able to ensure internet facilities, and for those who are working from offices, stable electricity supply. In the course of my presentation, I will be speaking briefly on 5 of our e-learning facilities that we are able to deploy to engage our students and our lecturers even before COVID-19. First of all, we have the e-library, we have the anatomist table, we have the power laboratory system, we have the Siman 3G mannequins, we have Fidelity mannequin, we have the our learning management system. As a university, we've also ensured that we have a robust ICT team to ensure that e-learning facilities, we're able to take care of them. So we'll be able to put in place personnel like the webmaster, the database specialists, the graphic artists, and the rest of them. Now, as a university, to ensure effective e-learning and online teaching, the university have carried out several pedagogical trainings and workshops for our lecturers so that they can be able to monitor and assess learning, so that they can be able to provide syllabi and instructional resources, as well as so they will be able to create a very conducive learning community so that our students can feel safe and connected. Now, let me begin with our e-library. Our Edo University Library is the repository of our electronic documents, electronic materials, journals, e-books, magazines, videos, and our e-library session, we have the offline and the online session. For the online session, we're able to ensure unlimited access to e-books, to e-journals, to e-magazines. And for our offline, we're able to download and store adequate number of e-books across programs, across disciplines. And teachers and our lecturers and students are able to access this information, these materials from wherever they are, as long as they are on our Edo University e-library platform. Our e-library, we have some services which we are able to provide through our e-library, services like data analysis services, online cataloging and classification services, information literacy services. On our e-library, there are some resources we are able to provide to our students, and resources like electronic books, wireless networks, and the rest of them. So our students and our lecturers, they are able to use the materials from these resources for research, for teaching, and for development of our students and the lecturers themselves. Now, some of our online databases, we have the Agora, we have the JSTOR, we have the Science Direct, we have the DOA, we have Goli and ORA and the rest of them. So we are able to access them as long as we are on the Edo University e-library platform and we have the login details. Apart from the e-library, the university also put in place the high-fidelity Simatrigi mannequins, a simulated electronic equipment which we use in the teaching and training of our medical students, our nurses, and our science students. The Simatrigi mannequins, it incorporates latest computer hardware technology and programs. And some of the things we use them for includes demonstration of vital signs, chest compression, breathing examination, so it will be able to enhance our student learning. And to be able to perfect this training, we have carried out several trainings for our lecturers so that they can deliver and give back to our students. Also, we have also been able to put in place an e-learning facility which has to do with the anatomal table. Today, in the world, the most technologically advanced visualization device is the anatomal table. All over the world, this is the most technologically advanced device. And the table comes with a library of human and animal cadavers. And the table is a 3D technology that helps in dissection. And the table is also a combination of unique hardware and software for training of health professionals, for training of medical students, and other science personnel. Also, this anatomal table complements our digitalized dissection laboratory. So, in teaching of students, they're able to grasp both theory and both practical as they progress in the course of their learning. Also, as a university, another e-learning facility we're able to put in place is the power laboratory system. The power laboratory system, we use them in series of experiments, series of practicals, series of tests. And our students are able to, through this power lab, they are able to carry out a lot of experiments related to cardiovascular systems such as ECG, EMG, and electrooculography. They are also able to use this our power laboratory system in areas that have to do with different effects of drugs on some aspects of the system and tissues. And the power laboratory system have the benefit of being able to store data safely and effectively. Now, let me come to Edo University Iyamho Canvas Learning Management System. I will be presenting my own use of the Canvas Learning Management System. We are able to use it to deliver educational course for our students training. Now, as a lecturer, I use video conferencing as a platform on my Canvas Learning Management System in teaching my students, irrespective of where the student is located, and the students are able to see me face to face. We're able to discuss as if we are in a classroom setting. And in the course of teaching, there is no difference between using my video conferencing on my Canvas and my online and my classroom teaching. Also, if you look at the slide before us, this is my final year students. I was having a seminar with them, and I asked them to present before me, and they are able to do it perfectly, and I can see them, I can ask the question, we can interact. Their challenges were able to videos, and students are able to access it via the Canvas, and over time they're able to replay it, and they have better knowledge and better understanding and better assimilation. Also, through my Canvas platform, I am also able to upload my lecture notes, my e-materials, and the student access that you can see a lecture that took place 18th May, 8th July, and so on and so on. So my students have access to this lecture materials, and without stress, they're able to use it to learn, to read, and to follow in this period of COVID-19. Also, one aspect of my Canvas learning management system is the fact that several lectures can place in the university across programs from year 1 to final year. So they're able to have very good lectures from wherever they are. You can have several, over 100. And also on my Canvas platform, I give my students series of tests, series of assignments, series of quiz, and I program the timing. If a student submit late, I will see it. If a student submit before time, I will see it. And I'm able to grade, and the student immediately receives the score, and also advise the student what he or she should do next in the course of the next assignment and so on. Then another good aspect of my Canvas learning management is that my student can access me. My
maybe, Doc, can you, sorry, you may switch off your video and continue with your presentation.
Assurance purpose. Also,
Hello, hello, can you switch off your video so that you remain with audio?
Yeah, I've done that. I've done that.
Yes. We have a bit of internet challenges there, but while
I'm still on.
Okay, go ahead.
So in my final comment was that the parent of my student, they can actually assess the grades of their child, assessment of their child, submissions and assignments of their child. In conclusion, I want to say that as a university, learning facilities and platforms, we're already using it before the coming of COVID-19 pandemic, because the canvas that we launched in January 2019, during holiday, we're already engaging our students with assignments, with tests, so that they can be busy while they're at home. So before COVID-19, we're already engaging our students online, even before COVID-19. So also, as COVID-19 pandemic currently ravages the world, the university, we are at the edge of concluding our 2019-2020 academic session, and we'll be using our e-learning facilities and platform. And I also want to say that learning on our Canvas learning management system has greatly enhanced our students' digital and soft skills, and this has given them competitive edge over their peers from other universities. Thanks for listening.
Thank you very much for a good presentation. I think the dimension of the e-learning solutions actually came to tell us what exactly they are using in greater detail. So it means we have a gap to fill. The gap relates to the challenges that has earlier on been highlighted by Dr. Maliki, where she said that we have power challenges, we have internet challenges, we have inadequate universities in Africa, we lack adequate training, and there's resistance to change, and infrastructural deficiencies, and the budget from the government, and all these things of internet services. So we still need to address this, because these are the quality assurance aspects that we also are concerned with as the Association of African Universities, and how we can come in. Very, very quickly, I saw somebody also who was asking about the funding. When we were preparing for this event, I also asked the DVC and VC to say, please tell me, most Nigerian universities and other universities across the continent are always lamenting about inadequate funding. So VC Edo University, if you are around, in whatever you are going to tell us in the end, may you kindly take note that you need to address this issue of funding. Are you getting same funding as other Nigerian state universities? If it is the same, or are you getting more from the government? If it is the same, how then is it that you seem to be managing and achieving much more than your counterparts? Although I've not been physically into all of the Nigerian universities, people want to take notes. The purpose for these webinars is to exchange knowledge and information so that the whole continent, higher and tertiary education can move in the same direction. We want no one should be left behind. So in terms of internet infrastructure and services, as well as ICT infrastructure, I'm telling you that ahead of all African countries, it seems to be South Africa and a few other African countries. They are trying to say, we don't deal with individual universities having an internet services account they pay for. So they come together and have one account which they now all pay for. And they realize the economies of scale that they are getting huge data bundles from these companies, and the discount is huge. Whether for a large or a small university, the benefit becomes the same, that there's reduction in internet services costs by about 70 to 80%, according to an earlier research. So we need to strengthen our national research and education networks. We need to strengthen our regional networks. That's very important. And there are many others which I will address in between. But for now, let's hear from our students what they are going to say to us. We have Miss Benedicta. Miss Benedicta is a 200 level student of Faculty of Law at Edo University, Iyamho. She is currently the Public Relations Officer of the Students' Representative Council in this university. So can we hear from you, Miss Benedicta? Hello.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Afternoon.
I am here today to make a presentation on the positive experiences of students on e-learning in our great university. The Canvas Learning Management System is one of the numerous benefits enjoyed by all the students of Edo University, Iyamho, including myself. Before the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic, we have been using the platform to do tests and assignments, and it has particularly helped us during the period of COVID-19. Edo University, being a world-class university, and it's due to make the most out of this lockdown for all students, and also to ensure that we don't miss any academic season, have been conducting online classes using the e-learning management system. The Canvas Learning Management Platform allows schools to build a digital learning environment that meets the unique challenges faced by the institution. Canvas simplifies teaching, it elevates learning, and eliminates the headaches of supporting and growing traditional learning technologies. In a country like ours, where internet stability is unpredictable and power supply is very poor, online classes have really been hard to maintain. Network can be really frustrating at times. But amidst all this, the LMS provides opportunities for students who may be due to poor network or low power supply, or for any unforeseen circumstances at all, could not log in for the class to be able to get recorded lectures. The platform is designed in a way that while the class is going on, it is being recorded, and thereafter it's uploaded for students to listen. Also, considering the cost of data now, the LMS consumes less data compared to other applications. This makes learning quite easy and less stressful for us, because even at the comfort of our homes, We have our classes. We can go back to our lectures anytime we feel like to clarify anything, write our tests, and do numerous assignments at ease. These online classes have personally helped me to develop myself technologically and, most importantly, academically. So apart from the benefits I've derived from this platform, I've been able to get feedback from other students. One of the students said that thanks to the online classes, I get to read and make research more often. Normally, when I'm home, my reading level reduces, but now due to classes and assignments, I get to read almost every day. Online classes are okay, but not convenient as normal classes. I don't enjoy doing practicals online. From my own experience, the practicals are going well, just that network issues may arise unexpectedly. It has helped us know more about social media, like using Canvas app to learn online. Then another is that it keeps us busy and book-minded so that we don't spend this lockdown break for nothing, and thus makes us to at least glance through our notes. It creates easier access in reaching out to our lecturers. The fact that the classes are always recorded, and as such, one can easily just go back to the videos to clear up any parts students find confusing. The tests have been going well. LMS has helped keep the academic year running by allowing both the students and lecturers have the ability to continue the academic year without any interference at all. Regardless of the pandemic, the LMS has aided good student-teacher relationship on the various courses. Thanks to the Edo University Learning Management System, we have an urge, even in the midst of this pandemic. The world is evolving, and as such, we're evolving with it as a world-class university that we are. The e-learning system of Edo University helps students to be fully engaged in meaningful and productive academic activities. This helps to prevent Edo University students from occupying their minds with evil thoughts that can lead to social vices and criminal activities. I am really proud to be part of this great institution. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much. You were very articulate, and I think you balanced the issues, but from the issues of internet services and ICT infrastructures, from all the presentations, what I can pick is that there's something which needs to be done at a national level. It means in Nigeria, we do not have this thing of internet that can be adequate for everyone, or at least that can sustain the volume and the population that is currently accessing internet services. And so it's up to us as universities, public or private, to come together and speak with one voice so that the national level internet services and ICT infrastructures are improved. Otherwise, no matter what you do at institutional level, the main problem, you cannot override it because it's at national level. And then there's something which she said, which I really liked, that the world is evolving. So for those who are waiting to do face-to-face lectures, it's very unfortunate, because by the time we come out of the COVID-19, even the workplaces too, they will also have evolved. Just last week, I was having an AAU TV session where I was just talking to the national accreditation bodies and the colleges of education and those institutions which offer teacher training, to say that you need to quickly revisit the curricula for teacher education. Where are they going to teach? When they go there, they find now there are these interactive boards, there are these canvases and Moodle platforms. So it means even what we are teaching the current student teachers and those who teach those student teachers, they all need training. So if we don't address the root cause, then we may not get it. It will not start in the university. It has to start in the colleges where we get postgraduate diplomas in teacher education, And also the teacher education itself, whether it's a certificate or a diploma, very, very important. We just need to start from the ground going upwards. Thank you. So we now listen to Mr. Adama Joshua. He is a 400 level student of the Department of Political Science and Public Administration at
Okay, Dr. Mapuko, I'm trying to get Joshua in the participant list, but I can't get him. If Joshua has any other name apart from Joshua Adama, kindly let me know so that I'll give you a co-host permission, please. But if not, there is no...
in Phoenix. I think he's in Phoenix, what something which I can't pronounce.
S3X. Okay. So let me X3X. Okay. So let me do it for Joshua so that he can talk.
Yes.
All right, Joshua. So I've made you a co-host. Can you kindly unmute your speaker and then make your presentation? Thank you.
Good day, everyone.
Good day, Joshua.
Yes. I am Adama Joshua Adegbe, a 400 level student of Edo University, Iyamho, Edo State, Nigeria, a prestigious and a world-class university. Edo University, Iyamho is indeed a world-class university, the reason being that it is well equipped with state-of-the-art facilities, right from sports, learning aids and teaching materials down to 24 hours power supply and so on. Edo University, Iyamho is also blessed with able and qualified lecturers, amongst whom are PhD holders and reputable professors who have taken it beyond just classroom interaction into inculcating discipline in the students. At Edo University, Iyamho, students are taught how to behave properly, dress properly, and how to be self-sufficient, especially through the entrepreneurship scheme fully sponsored by the school. Edo University Learning Management System is that which is indeed the best in Africa and the best of its kind in the whole of West Africa. It is a learning management system that is enabled on with a 2G network, better with a 3G network, and best with a 4G network. The very important aspect I so much love about the learning management system is that it enables me to access the school's e-library from the comfort of my home, from any part of the world, with any enabled network device, like either a smartphone, a laptop, a tablet, or even desktop. It is a learning management system that enables lecturers to communicate with us, either via video, audio, or even chat. And it enables me as a student to periodically assess my lecturers. With this, lecturers can know how best to serve the students. Results are being published on this learning management system as soon as assessments are taken and as lecturers have viewed the work. And this enables both students and even parents to monitor and view their work performances. Another very interesting aspect of this online learning management system I so much love is that assessments are being taken. I've taken a series of assessments, and I'm glad to tell you I just have only one test to write via this learning management system. And it also enables offline access in the sense that when either a video or an audio record is being uploaded, it enables students to download as it is when convenient for you. And with that, you no longer need an internet service to access that downloaded file. It can be a file, video, or even audio. The learning management system also enables me to register my courses online instead of the old method of taking my course form to a lecturer to sign, which can be very tedious and frustrating for students. The not too good aspect of Edo University learning management system, students have tend to complain about. In short, when a student learned I'm going to be a speaker on this Zoom meeting, they were like telling me what to say, the things students don't like. So I'm like speaking not from my own perspective, but representing the students of Edo University, Iyamho. The inability to be able to conduct practicals has been one of the challenges. And not that practicals are not being conducted. Practicals are being conducted, but not well digested. And one thing I so much love about my school is that when you lay a complaint, it is being looked into and seen how it can be resolved as soon as possible. Also, it is battery consuming, and like some of us have said, there is hardly access to 24 hours power supply for some of us, for some students and even lecturers residing in the rural area. And network failures also has been one of the challenges. And this is why I'm on this platform trying to advise either the government or an Edo University not to consider this platform for writing exams. I want to use this medium to advise that schools should be allowed to adopt their own learning management system, and when it comes to time of exams, should be allowed to resume in badges to take their exams. Take for instance, 100 and 200 level can resume to take their exams, followed by the 3 and 400 level students to take their exams. This is because not even all students know how to type fast. Imagine you forfeiting knowing what to write, having analysis to express, but forfeiting your marks due to the inability of not knowing how to type fast. You can see it limits students, if you understand what I mean, man. So with this not too good aspect of it, I won't advise we use it for exams. And I had the president of the United States on Al Jazeera when he was saying the situation will get worse before it gets better. And African nations are like indirectly waiting for these first world nations to come up with a solution, which is not too good. If they can take to this advice and learn how to live with the virus first before the cure should come in, I think it will be a very welcome alternative, because students are really not happy staying at home and doing nothing. I'm just privileged to be part of Edo University Iyamho, and that is why I have access to this e-learning. So in conclusion, I would like to say the world has changed and is fast becoming a global village. Nigeria as a nation cannot afford to lag behind. Edo University Iyamho adopting this learning management system is one of its many ways it has been able to keep up with other world-class universities like Cambridge, Oxford, Yale University, and the likes of them. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for an articulate presentation. Yeah, so the issues, they continue to come, but what I also pick at national level is that Nigeria, just like some other African countries, need to scale up at national level on resolving power issues. At one time when I was coming to Nigeria, I've been to Nigeria more than 3-4 times. Somebody says, Doc, be careful, you may not come back. And I say, why? Maybe that time there will be a power outage and your ticket will not be processed. But so wherever you are, you should think of how you can also be part of the solution. But I can say at national level, just like what our student has said, it's advocacy and coming together to voice about issues of having the solar energy, having the wind power. All these are some of the things. Why is it that in some developed countries where even the number of hours they receive solar energy are so short, they are able to harvest and make a huge difference? And here in Africa, we are blessed with a long hours of solar energy, but are we harvesting it? Whom are we waiting for? Because there are things which can happen at national level, but also at local level, there are certain things we are expected to do. Another very, very important aspect that he has raised is almost the last one, students to be trained. Ladies and gentlemen, it can't be training for lecturers alone. No, there is an imbalance. You train lecturers alone, how about the students? He has rightly said it that even the students need the training, because now they are grappling with two things. grappling with learning the content and skills, and grappling with the ICTs. Even up to now, some of us, I still need to know how to create this Zoom link to invite you, because I haven't created any. It has been created for me. So you see the myriad of challenges that are also associated with. And when you talk of this, it's quality and quality assurance to also include the other forms of communication and softwares and platforms that students and lecturers have been already acclimatized to. For example, there's no harm in creating WhatsApp groups. Telegram works the same as WhatsApp, but with major advantages that it can even accommodate 200,000 people in one group. And you can set it in such a way that those who have come in now can see what has been done earlier. And these are the major advantages over WhatsApp. And there are other social media platforms like Facebook. Let's capitalize and reduce its use for social things by students and populate it with the schoolwork. But this is something that students and staff are already accustomed to. So we also need to train our lab technicians, train the ICT people. And if you don't have a strong ICT team and a responsive team, which are the two quality assurance aspects which I'm pushing in, then it means you need to outsource. If you don't outsource, you are always going to have security issues, crashing systems, and all these other things of malfunctions. You also need your responsive teams to help students with such. I just want to come in also to inability to conduct real practicals. These ones, because we may not be able to address them. We also have the softwares and platforms for practicals, some of which have been highlighted already. But we also have softwares for microlabs. Microlabs where you can even do dangerous experiments. These have always been in existence, because if you try to do those experiments physically, it may cause a lot of damage to humans and also to the environment. So microlabs have always been in existence, and simulations and pre-recorded demonstrations. Then I just want to borrow from the student, Joshua, also that because we have these practicals in medicine, in agriculture, in what have you, where students cannot graduate without the real hands-on, minds-on, then we can bring them on campus in batches to now do the real practicals. And that one, because we will have covered it thoroughly online, it won't be taxing. Because we still need to maintain social distancing and observe all the protocols that are associated with the COVID-19 pandemic checks. So that is very, very important. And then offline access. And I said zero rating. This is one thing that I'm pushing for, that for institutions, let's by all means try to help our students. There are questions which have been put on the panel, which are issues that I'm always concerned about. Do you know that issues of access are issues of quality assurance? Issues of equity are issues of quality assurance. So how are we catering for those students who are in the rural areas, who are in the back of beyond, who still need to access whatever the other students have been accessing, and they've already paid their school fees, and they also look forward to completing this academic year, which others have been pushing. So we don't need to throw away emails. We still need to use emails so that if we communicate with them, they then move to some place with internet, do their work, come back to that spot, upload their work and also they catch on with the rest. But it's not easy at all. That is the reason why we are having these sessions. Thank you. Now we are going to look at Dr. Vincent, Director, International Exchange and Linkages. So I think what I've done is I looked at the wrong row, because now the e-learning and teaching solutions seem to be coming now. And it's my sincere hope that, Doc, you are going to address those issues, the challenges that have been raised earlier on by Dr. Mrs. Malik. So who is Dr. Vincent Balogun? You tell me your full name once again. Engineer Dr. Vincent is the Director of International Exchanges and Linkages, an Associate Professor of Mechanical Engineering at the Faculty of Engineering in Edo State, Edo University, Iyamho, Edo State, Nigeria. He holds a Master's of Science, MSc, and Doctor of Philosophy degree from London South Bank University in London, United Kingdom, and the University of Manchester, United Kingdom, respectively. Dr. Vincent is a Korean registered engineer, a member of the Nigerian Society of Engineers, and a member of the Nigerian Institution of Mechanical Engineers. His research won the National Prize for the Committee of Deans of Engineering and Technology Award 2016 and 2017 competitions, respectively. So he is well published as an international speaker and reviewer, and his philosophy of learning is to emphasize critical thinking and the need to consider engineering within its larger social, historical, and intellectual context. Thank you, Doc. You are most welcome. Please, let's come on board so that we will have more time for question and answer session.
Thank you very much, Dr. Makuku.
It's okay.
I will be looking at e-teaching and learning solutions, our Edo University Iyamho model. We'll be looking at a few things, adaptation and solutions, the learning management system implementation, Edo University Iyamho model, practical classes. I've seen that a lot of questions are coming through on practical and test, and then the skill acquisition strategy adopted at Edo University Iyamho. Generally, world over, Edo University Iyamho pride on our students. Our students are our asset, because they are going to be the one that will prepare the university with the required skills and catapult the university to a greater height. So we pride on them. We try as much as possible to give them everything they will need in order to fit into the global community. For our learning management system, Edo University Iyamho have been able to ensure that all our materials, digital materials, all our lecture notes are available via the university repository. They are all referenced in specific locations, and they are available through the metadata descriptors on the learning management system. Now, issues about epileptic power supply was raised. At Edo University Iyamho, we have 24/7 power supply. Power supply available for lectures and also in their hostels. So though Nigeria generally, or Africa, do have a lot of problem in that regard, but the university is trying all they could and ensuring that they manage the power supply appropriately. So we try to provide 24/7 power supply. Now, for broadband internet connections, we encourage students and lecturers on campus, or wherever they may be, that they should ensure that they connect to different available networks with the country. Yes, we have this internet problem around, gigabyte, megabyte, challenges up and down, but we have encouraged all participants, lecturers or students alike, to ensure that they connect to different networks as soon as they want to receive lectures or deliver lectures. Edo University Iyamho also engaged in training all our staff in the use of the learning management system and all e-facilities. Everything that's supposed to be used for the teaching and learning, the university management ensure that both staff and students were appropriately trained. We have the facilities, infrastructure that's required to deliver the learning management system. Now, in adopting and implementing our e-learning, we have discovered that we now have improved course quality. Feedback coming from parents, from students, and from everyone around us also show that we have improved course quality. We have training support that is focused on technical staff. We have learning materials and media. So our training is focused on specific areas that concerns learning materials. We have technology support for those that will need it. The learning has been self-directed. Students can access the material anytime they wish because some of them are pre-recorded, while most of them are live teaching. The learning management system is quite easy to use, and assessment and evaluation is also done on the learning management system. During this new normal, our approach to learning has been very unique. We have the curriculum collation. We have handed over to our tasks or lecturers. They studied it, prepared the lectures, ensure that the content are available via the learning management system. That means translate all lecture materials to digital sources, and then they deliver all the lectures online via the learning management system. Assessment and entrepreneurial skills are also delivered via that same process. There's one big thing that we ensure that takes place during this process, which is the quality assurance. We ensure that quality check for lectures, for delivery system, for entrepreneurial skills, and for industrial collaborators are put in place so that our students are equipped with the required knowledge, skills, and attitude that they will need to face the world at large. And this will equip them for the employment that we have prepared them for. Now, in implementing our model, which we want to encourage at this time, the model includes input, the process, and an output. There's feedback here and there before the output that will return back to the input. So the comprehensive model is what you can see. For our model, we have the input. In the input, we determine the lecturer and the student role. That will be defined from the very beginning. Then we have the learning materials, preparation of the learning materials. For the input as well, we have the student management system that houses all student data and information. We have the academic information system that also houses all information about lecturers and all academic staff. Resources, lecture materials, books, e-books, and all that are housed in that repository. And then we have the quality system, which is the evaluation and management system also within the input. So feedback goes back from time to time into the input to improve the system, to improve our input in order to deliver the process to the student. So in our process strategy, we have the teaching and learning, where we have all other things embedded into them. So for the process, we have announcement, we have assignment, we have grades, we have can be assessed in modules. We have the syllabus in case students want to follow that. And then we have outcomes. Outcomes, quizzes, which could be in the form of tests, are also available through that. And then conferences where they can attend live lectures, and attendance, of course, is being recorded through that same process. This will ensure that our students with the right output for the knowledge, the skills, and the attribute that they will require. Now, from time to time, we ensure that we get feedback from students, from parents, and from all our stakeholders. This ensures that the process is made very possible. Now, one big thing that we should understand there for our technology-enhanced learning, TEL at Edo University Iyamho, is that this process is made possible because of our management commitment and the passion to deliver excellent services, the quest for quality education for development. This is why our technology-enhanced learning has been made very possible. Kudos to our management team. Now, issues concerning practicals have been raised. I've seen a lot of questions coming through the chat area. Issues concerning practicals. Want to try and see if you can address a little bit of them. Now, for our practicals at Edo University Iyamho, we do have a simulation software. Now, this simulation software empowers students to participate in videos, in simulating their own software from their end. They will install the software and then simulate it and then follow the lecturer as this process is being taken through. At the same time, we do have alternative to practical. Although alternative to practical is something we have put in place, particularly during this COVID-19 era. Alternative to practical takes only about 60% of our practicals. We believe and hope that as soon as school resumes, within the 2-week window, when school resumes, the 40% hands-on practical will be done by all our students. Video recordings of practicals are also available. You could see our online live streaming of practical course. This is one of our courses being streamed live to students to see. It's a source, and they need to visualize it to see how it is being done, even at the comfort of their homes. Now, practical classes ongoing, also streamed live in the Faculty of Sciences. You could see that Faculty of Sciences practicals being streamed live. Students can visualize that at the comfort of their homes. Practical classes at engineering workshop, you could see, we also beam and stream this live to students while technologies are working on them and data are being collected. Engineering, you could see, for Department of Mass Communication, can also see a live interview that's ongoing. Students can see this also live in their various homes. Our entrepreneurship unit also, you could see the practical classes also being conducted live, and it's being related to students. They will see it also live and participate in the practical as it's being done live online. For College of Medical Sciences, also practical is also live. You could see 60% of these are done live. We hope that when school resumes, the 40%, which is hands-on experience, will be carried out. We know the importance because our university, Edo University Iyamho, places a very high importance to hands-on practical. This cannot be erased because practicals are meant to give hands-on experience to students. For example, you could see lathe machining, you could see workshop practices, nursing classes. Some of them will need students to be on campus to participate. And so that's why the university are put in place 60% alternative practical, and then 40% will be delivered during the 2-week window of resumption. Usually 3 weeks is being devoted to practical classes only, even during normal face-to-face lectures. Now, for the real-time online tests at Edo University Iyamho, using our model, we say our test includes objective, which could be multiple choice, German or matching questions in different form. We also have short and long essays in our questions. However, we do have backup questions for students that maybe might have 1 or 2 issues or challenges thereabout. Test questions are randomized. Support lines are available to them in case they have issues or challenges thereabout. That's our dashboard implementing the Edo University Iyamho model. showcasing the courses and the activities that is being conducted. Now, to protect the sanity of our examinations, students are requested to turn on face to face, to turn on their camera and face the camera so that we can check and be sure that they are writing their test online. The university is not an online university, like we know. University is a face-to-face university, but because of the event that we have found ourselves, the COVID-19 era, the new normal, the world is moving forward, the world is changing. Nobody is sure when this will return back to normal, if it will return at all. So we have moved a step ahead to ensure that our lectures, our tests, practicals are being conducted live online. And so there are issues that we should concern ourselves about. COVID-19 is forcing a global experimentation with remote teaching. It is appropriate for institutions and universities to embrace this new normal. Questions we should ask: do students really need a 4, 5, 6-year residential experience for a degree? Well, that's a big question that we should begin to find out, because we need to investigate and find out which part can be supplemented, which part of the curriculum can be supplemented, which part can be complemented by digital technology. If the first 2 years can be complemented by digital technology, why not? Why don't universities or institutions embrace that? And then we now know that it becomes a 2-year program when the students will now come face to face within the university to carry out and complete their degree. This is the question that we should ponder about. What improvement do we need in our IT infrastructure for online education? These are also questions that at Edo University Iyamho we have been able to place an answer to, particularly our technology-enhanced learning at Edo University Iyamho, where we have the Canvas learning management system. There are other cloud-based IT infrastructures that we use for online. There are modules, there are other ones that other universities are using. But we need to do a quality check on them and see which one is more appropriate for our use. At Edo University Iyamho, we have adopted a very robust learning management system, which we have tagged technology-enhanced learning at Edo University Iyamho. Our model can be question: what traits in mindset and behavior? This is a question that we should discuss. It's just begin to look at it, because not all faculty members are comfortable with virtual classwork. There's a digital divide among all faculty, digital divide among people, among institutions. So we should begin to see how this training effort can come into being using the Edo University Iyamho technology-enhanced learning model. Now, for acquisition of our skills, we have been able to ensure that for all our students, skills is part of what we give to them. So that as soon as they graduate from the university, they are able to sell themselves, they are able to be productive, they are able to be employable within the global world, wherever they might find themselves. So we have embedded quite a whole lot of skill acquisition strategy into our learning management system. The quick trips, the practicals, the study tour, and all that, debates and presentations, all to equip our students with what is required. In conclusion, when you adapt the Edo University Iyamho model, we engage our lecturers. All our lecturers are trained and retrained for every particular duty and function they have to carry out. Our students graduate as at when due. Now, most institutions are locked down, but Edo University Iyamho is ongoing. Lectures are ongoing. Graduation will soon come. Our students will graduate as at the time they signed to graduate. Academic calendars are unaltered. It's still ongoing. There's real-time live practicals. We have parents student and lecturers interactions each time and each moment to improve our learning system and strategy. There's visual monitoring of words by parents. Parents have the capability and capacity to log into the LMS, Learning Management System of Edo University Iyamho, to monitor the activities of their ward or child and see their performance on a daily basis if they so wish. Now, this is a wake-up call to the whole continent. This is a wake-up call to Africa. This is a wake-up call to institutions around the world. Let us move out from our cloud-covered Africa. Let us move to a more brightened up Africa, a more dynamic Africa, where teaching and learning will be a thing of the past, even among the COVID-19. Let us move to an Africa where we will have graduates that can propel the world and change the world. So I will say, arise Africa, let us go forward together. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Doc. A good presentation. My sincere apologies. We had a slight hitch and I went offline, but I'm back. So the issue of parent involvement is very, very important. You know, the COVID-19 came with its problems and challenges, but also there are some other things that it is helping us to move forward and improve. Earlier on, students would lie that their degree programs are 7 years as if they were doing medicine, or their encyclopedia is finished. And then parents would continue to pay fees for somebody who could already be employed elsewhere. So now they can tell if students are still real in class or not. The digital divide. I want to talk about this also, that we have young and older lecturers. We had a fight between students and lecturers, saying students should not bring smartphones in the lecture rooms. But to tell you the truth, sometimes they will just be checking on you and what you will be telling them. A definition of terms, they quickly Google and see that you are not telling them the truth about the definitions. So, but we would think they are doing something like social what with the smartphone. So we need to do researches and find out really what were the students doing with those smartphones. And then coming on, we are not winding off yet. Coming on to the digital divide, I want to say the young ones can also help the older lecturers, and then student resistance and lecturer resistance need to be attended to. Quality assurance wise, we need to look at psychologists to try and help change the mindsets of both the students and the lecturers, because you find the students, they've got issues. Lecturers have got issues of resistance. The other university which we had, students said initially we didn't like online learning, but when we embarked on it, we realized that we enjoyed it much more than we thought we would not like it. So now I'm giving the Vice Chancellor a few minutes just to give comments, but the first one is to tell us, how are you dealing with the financial aspect to be able to do these things? Engineer Professor Aluo is Pioneer Vice Chancellor of Edo University Iyamho. The nation's newspapers recognize the professor as one of the 20 most outstanding Vice Chancellors in Nigeria for the year 2016. Is a current registered engineer and a member for several professional bodies. And I think, Prof, you are doing a good job. Just to quickly tell us more. In the interest of time, I could not say all that he is doing, but he is a big man. Thank you. Prof, quickly, please, in 3 to 5 minutes, start by the fundraising issue, or how you manage to make the university what it is today, which others may not be able to do.
Thank you, Dr. Matuku. Before I say anything, I think it's appropriate for me to quickly recognize my Chancellor of the University, Dr. Aderemi Makanjola, who is in the process of setting up a COVID-19 laboratory in the university. I think we really do appreciate his contribution. The chairman of my council is also attending this meeting, Professor Emeritus Tioke Audu, and indeed members of the council of Edo University. I want to say that in terms of funding, we are grateful to the Edo State government, who indeed gave us the mandate at the very beginning to emulate what is going on in the world-class universities around the world. And indeed, it is in looking at the things that make universities world-class. We looked at the 10 best universities on the webmetric ranking, and we discovered that 7 out of the 10 universities use the Canvas learning management system. And that is part of what inspired us to get on Canvas. We have indeed gotten on Canvas, thanks to, well, one of the positive sides of the COVID-19 pandemic is that we have then tried to adapt, put several things on the Canvas learning management system to make it usable for our system here. Part of our requirements in Edo University is that every student must get a laptop at the point of admission, but it is also good to know that the Canvas learning management system is accessible on your Android phone. We do know that there are challenges, but we believe that challenges are meant to be surmounted. And indeed, we are moving on at Edo University. I want to thank indeed every participant, particularly my colleague vice chancellors. I see many of them who have been there from the beginning up to now, and indeed all that are interested in quality education in Africa. Let me thank the Association of African Universities for what they are doing. We really do appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, VC. You know, we have got many questions that we need to respond to during this time. Someone is saying, is there a difference between online learning and what is currently happening? So let's have people responding to this one, because what we immediately have, which I can quickly say, is that when we had the COVID-19 outbreak, we had what we call emergency remote teaching and learning, but it involves the use of social media and use of online tools, and also the use of open and distance learning components. So I think in brief, what we need to understand is to understand that all these things can be brought together to enable synchronous and asynchronous mode of teaching and learning. Emails are part, and so even whether it is online or ODL, and I think these supplements still come in to make sure that there's constant engagement, and there are various forms of passing information to the students, just like what we are also doing. We are sending you emails, we are sending you WhatsApp and Telegram messages to say, attend this activity. But I think the details of that can easily be obtained by even checking from the internet, because they are so particular and give the greater details, the similarities and differences, the overlaps. Now, can somebody help me within the audience? Remember, I got cut off. So what I'm doing is I'm scouting for questions that came when I joined in. Please, which conferencing tool do you use, Zoom or what? Can you respond to that? But if I got them well, they said that the Canvas is an inbuilt video conferencing. Please, can somebody quickly respond between those who were presenting from Edo? Which conferencing tool do you use, Zoom or what?
Yes, thank you, Dr. Makufu. For our Canvas learning management system, we we have conference embedded in the strategy. Conference embedded in that strategy. So as soon as we initiate a conference, we can deliver lectures. Students will get an email, an alert on their phone or device they are using. They will connect through that conference, and then the lecturer will also connect to that conference. So everything will be live. Everybody will be on that platform to teach and to learn. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. There's somebody who is saying, is it possible to get copies of these presentations? Yes, this one is a free webinar, and the Tuesdays ones are the ones which you pay to get the recorded link and also the certificate for any two that you choose. So, but the problem is some of you give us wrong email addresses and everything bounces back, so you won't get anything. Unless, if you check for 2 days and there's nothing, you won't get, because you will have given us a wrong email address. Irene, do you have questions in emails or questions from the previous? Because when I got cut off, all those questions which I saw, I can't have them now.
Okay, very well. So we have a few from our emails, and then I would read, and then all those who were given the chance to present, if it's in your area of specialization, you can answer it for us, especially those of us from Edo University. So this is from Professor Ifua Hesi. She is the president, Accra College of Medicine, and her question is very simple. She said, thank you to the Deputy Vice Chancellor for his presentation. How has the university been able to train the clinical students for the MBBS program in particular, whilst respecting the new norms and ensuring a reduction of risk to the medical students? So this is a question from Professor Ifua Hesi, President of Accra College of Medicine. So Prof, if you can hear us, maybe you can quickly answer the question.
No. Hello?
Hello,
Yes,
can
Prof.
anybody respond quickly?
You said how we are able to train. How we are able to train. I think before my DVC speaks, let me make one or two comments. The question is how we are able to train our medical students who are preparing for MBBS.
Yes.
Yeah, our Canvas learning management system, it covers a lot of ways whereby our clinical students at the moment, they are in their fourth year. They're in their fourth year. The Canvas has a way of capturing such that a lecturer teaching is able to exhibit practical aspects of what they do in the hospitals, in the area of radiology, pharmacology, and other areas. So the Canvas platform, a lecturer can actually have some other add-on functions. There are some add-on functions that a lecturer can impute into the Canvas platform. And the student in the clinical area, they're able to assess what the lecturer in the clinical aspects is presenting before them.
Okay, let's hear quickly from the DVC if he has got anything to add.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Makoko. And as we do know, when it comes to the training of medical students, they are guided by medical doctors, and the assignment of medical doctors are in twofold. The first one has to do with the hospital part of it, then the other one is the academic part of it. And as you know, the medical doctors are classified as essential workers, and for this, as at now, they are for the clinicals, and the clinicals are done in the hospitals. So the students are attached, and they are doing the job that is expected of them, and that is providing health care in the hospitals. So the students are attached to the doctors in the hospitals. They do ward round, and that is the way we've been coping. But
can you mute?
We have been using
there
the
are
Canvas.
People whose microphones are not muted. Please help us. Not, Irene, please mute your microphone. You can
Yes,
go
I have
on.
done that. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Can you hear me now? No, yes.
Yes.
What I was saying, if you heard me, is that in addition to what has been said by Dr. Osunobu, that the assignments of the medical doctors can be classified into twofold. Now, one has to do with the hospital component of it, and the other one is the academic part of it. And for the clinicals, you do know that medical doctors are classified as essential workers. And for the clinicals, the students are attached to the medical doctors in the hospital so that they can have, you know, first-hand, what is it called? They can have first-hand lessons and trainings as pertains what is obtainable, you know, in the hospital. So we are doing that. In the clinical part of it, the students are attached to the medical doctors and in the hospitals. But the academic part of it is that, you know, the students are being taught through the Canvas learning management system. This is not sessional. It embodies all the students. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Do you have more? But I just want to acknowledge President Afua of Accra Medical College. Yes, I know her personally. I think from 2017, I visited trying to be a member of the association. And it's good that I've known a number of your staff now attending our workshops. That's very good. Thank you. Irene, can you have more?
Doc, I think for now, that's all the questions that came in through Director Maxwell's inbox. What would be left now is that we would allow them raise their hands and then maybe we'll pick questions from them.
Yes,
so we have about 15 minutes to wrap up. And so we have to finish our questions and then our summary within the next 15 minutes. Thank you, Doc.
That's fine. Thank you. So can we have people quickly raising their hands and asking questions?
Okay, so we have a few whose hands are up. And so, Quinette, I am unmuting your speaker. Can you quickly ask your question? Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon. Go ahead.
Yes, I am Engineer Dr. Quinette. Yes, I'm Engineer Dr. Quinette Omoibo. I am from Nigeria. I am a parent to EUI. My question is very easy. For the law students, they need to do practicals, mute courts, and all of that. How is the Canvas element system accommodating that? That's my concern. Then because I'm an engineer, I am also going to ask this for those of us that have children in engineering in that school, that there are some engineering courses that need practicals. And even when you put them on videos, it is not like when you do it one-on-one. So how is this system managing it? And NUC in Nigeria, Universities Commission, COREN, NSC, they have a guideline for engineering education. Is all of this imbued into this Canvas element? So I want to know if COREN and NSC is agreeing to the practicals being done online. You know, so those are my two concerns. Thank you so much, and I would like to say thank you, AAU. I've attended most of your conferences. It's so laudable being here. Thank you so much, EUI. God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much. On the law and the moot court, you see, one of the challenges we do have in this part of the world has to do with adaptation to change. And for us, we feel that is the new normal and this is the way to go. And but like for instance, talking about examinations, in one of the meetings we attended, and that was moderated by you, and the takeaway for the university was the possibility of having year exams. And what the VC did immediately was to set up a committee to look at the possibility of having exams. They made their submissions, and we said, okay, good, we are good to go. Putting in all the built-in mechanisms to check against examination misconduct. But I tell you, for law, we were made to understand by the dean that the decision for e-exams for law has to be decided by the Council of Legal Education. So it's part of the problem that we do have, adaptation to change. But I tell you, in terms of teaching, that has been done, and we are doing that effectively, especially on the Canvas learning management system. Because, it's a device that enables for interaction between, the staff and the students, and even among the students themselves. So we have been doing that on Canvas. And I tell you what, if there's one thing we have learned from this COVID-19, if there's anything that we have learned, from the use of Canvas, from this COVID-19, it has to do with optimizing the use of the Canvas learning management system. Like it was mentioned, we acquired this device in 2019, and the use was curtailed. Why? Because we were doing that in conjunction with the face-to-face mode of imparting knowledge. But without the students on campus, what we have done is actually to optimize it. And that we have done to the advantage of the system, to the advantage of the students, and also for the purpose of expanding the frontiers of knowledge. Thank you.
Thank you very much. May you please quickly address the issue of finances? Like I asked you when we were preparing, how have you managed as a state university as if you are getting more than the other government universities, government-funded universities?
Okay, thank you again, Dr. Makuku. There are basic questions that one expects to come to mind. One of the questions that we have been confronted with, aside from this question you have asked, is to ask if it is a private university or a state university. And most times what we tell them that, see, it is a state university, people simply find it difficult to believe us. Except maybe when you drive in your car and you tell them you can see the number plate, this is a state-owned vehicle. And you understand. So, but it is a state university, and I tell you what, we have 2 universities being financed by Edo state government. We don't get any special subvention from the state government. Of course, like the VC said, we want to thank the state government for what they have done and what they are committed to, and the mandate that they have given us. But to a great extent, what has been achieved today has to do with managerial skills and ability in terms of defining what to do and defining the purpose and defining the vision. And in terms, so we started from day one, because it's a new university. And again, like I said, adaptation to change. For the other ones, perhaps it is quite difficult because they have been so accustomed to the traditional mode of teaching. So it is now becoming difficult, to adjust to teaching and learning that conform with the 21st century. So what we have been able to achieve now is not actually a function of financing. Yes, you do need financing, but that is not the topmost. The topmost, what is it called? The topmost in terms of, has to do with the vision, defining what you want, defining where to go, and defining what you intend to achieve. That, for us, has to do with a great level of managerial skills and competence. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Let's quickly have a few more hands. Being a member of AAU, cannot be an individual, but an institution. But sometimes our vice chancellors don't go ahead to tell students and staff that they are a member of AAU, and institutions tend to lose out a lot. So we now have desk officers in some of the universities. Questions? Okay, are we done with the questions and comments?
Okay,
Please?
so Adams Abdul, I have unmuted you. Can you quickly make your submissions? Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for this opportunity. I think that this presentation, first of all, was a great one. It's an eye-opener to all institutions across Africa. And I think that a lot of universities can actually learn from this experience. But one thing I want to raise has to do with one of the presenters talk about the issue of internet connectivity, internet access. And then he gives some statistics that globally, access to internet is about 60%, and Africa share in that about 39%. So, and we seem to be happy with that 39%, which for me is unfortunate because 39%, not even half of the population. So I think that yes, 39%, yeah, we can tap our back for the fact that we had a larger share in terms of looking at comparing with the other continents of the world. But I think there's more to be done in this regard. We need more internet connectivity. We need, and this is why we need the state governments to come in, so that the infrastructure that we need to have is expanded coverage of internet, and then the stability in terms of the internet connectivity is achieved. And because the institutions alone, the universities alone cannot do this without the support of the state, because the infrastructure is very key. And these are kind of investment that are so huge for these individual institutions to be able to shoulder the financial burden. So I think that yes, we could tap our back for this, but I think that it's still far below expectation. At least if we were above 60%, 70, 80, I think that one we can be very comfortable with. But 39% is still something we cannot jubilate about. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And the 39% does not mean all people are doing academic endeavor, which we are more concerned about also. So it's not necessarily that all is going into academic endeavors. And so someone was asking, for these sessions, we don't give certificates. We don't
Dr.
give
Makuku,
certificates.
we have the Vice Chancellor, Federal University, hands up. So, Prof, can you hear me? I've unmuted you. Can you make your submission, please? I think we will take the last one because we are almost, our time is almost up. And so we want Prof to make his submission and then we would wrap up. Thank you.
Hello?
Yes, Prof.
Yes,
Prof. Please make your submission.
My humble self?
Yes,
hello?
Please.
Professor Angela Freeman Miri, the Vice Chancellor of Federal University, Lokoja. Thank you so much for the opportunity given to me to participate in this very thought-provoking and mind-opening sessions that we've had. I want to thank the presenters for well-articulated presentations. My question is directed at my sister, Dr. Maliki. Are you hearing me?
Yes, Prof. Please go ahead. We can hear you very well.
Thank you very much. Dr. Maliki made a very fascinating presentation and articulated very well the challenges associated with the e-learning initiative. But I was wondering, in spite of all the challenges that she has identified, it does seem that Edo University, Iyamho, is very well able to handle these challenges, to have recorded so far the successes we are we have listened to. And I would be happy if they could share with us, the strategies they've used to be able to overcome some of these teething problems that were identified. Because the issue of, power shortage, connectivity, and availability of, power is central, to the success of this initiative. Could she briefly let us know how they have been able to overcome these challenges so that we can learn therefrom? I'm really very happy to have joined this webinar. I want to thank Dr. Korade, who was able to open our mind's eyes to the activities of the AAU. And in no short time, I would make sure that my university comes on board as a member. Thank you very much, Dr. Makuku, for a well-coordinated, seminar, the presentations. Thank you very much, and I appreciate the opportunity to be part of, this wonderful program. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prof, and we are also glad to have you here. Dr. Makuku, you are muted, so maybe you can unmute and then, okay, go. Thank you.
Okay, let's have the quick response. We have another Vice Chancellor, Dufie. Dr. Maliki, if you are responding, please, let's hear, and then we can hear.
Thank you very much. With regards to the, epileptic power supply in Africa, we are also experiencing it in the University Iyamho. But however, to beef up that challenge, we normally use our generator. So whenever there is no light, immediately we switch on the generator such that in the university, we have power supply 24/7. And with regards to the internet connectivity, we are hooked up with different internet broadband. Then we have the, connected to Glo, then the Zen, the MTN, all at the same time. So that if one network is failing, we immediately switch all to the other network. Please, can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm listening. Yeah.
So that is how we have been able to, to curb those challenges regarding the epileptic power supply and internet connectivity. I said that with regards to, the epileptic power supply in, most parts of the sub-Saharan Africa, it is also, the problem is also evident in Nigeria and in the Edo State University, Iyamho. But however, whenever
Too bad.
Yeah, too bad. We can't hear her now.
Yes, let's hear the Vice Chancellor of Pamo University of Medical. She has a question. Sisi.
Dr. Makuku, there is no VC. I think it was just Prof who had her hands raised. Okay.
It was a private message.
Okay. Can I quickly get the name so that I can allow him to?
What name did you use to register VC? It said the VC of Pamo University of Medical Sciences, I think.
Okay.
Does someone know so that they can guide us? Yeah. Maybe it's this one. I don't know.
What's the name, please? What's the name?
How would we know? Does someone know this VC's full name?
No, I don't.
So I've tried my best, unfortunately.
Okay, so Prof Michael. They are writing there. Prof Michael, Prof G and something.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
From Gideon, okay.
I have a question to ask.
and that question is on those cost implications. I want to know if the students are charged or they pay for this particular canvas, and what is the cost implication like if a university wants to acquire this kind of learning management system? Thank you.
Yes, for our Canvas learning management system, each student pays a token of 15,000 naira.
Okay.
A token of 15,000 naira per student. And for parents that want to also monitor their child, will also pay a similar amount. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Please don't forget to register for tomorrow. Don't forget to register for the quality assurance tomorrow. I think it's equally important, and you are all invited. I've put the registration details there. So before you leave, you can just click and the form comes out. Do we have any other? I thought the student in Phoenix Fort wanted to say something.
Yes, ma. Yes, ma.
Yes.
Hear me, ma.
Yes, make your submission, please.
Okay, yes. As regards to the question the Vice Chancellor of Federal University Lokoja asked, I happen to have a sibling in that university. As regards to our question as what we do about the power supply, as students and as the learning management system is just an alternative, we don't wish to continue after the COVID-19 pandemic to use it 100%. But
we have lost him.
Can you hear me, ma?
Yes, please
now
continue.
We can hear you.
I made mention in my presentation earlier that the EUI learning management system enables students to download materials because these materials are being uploaded by lecturers. So it enables us to download these materials and read at our convenience. That means maybe when you have access to the power supply or when you have access to the internet. So these materials are there online, and you can download it as a student and listen to the audio or the video recordings and read the materials. So that when you do not have a power supply in the area you reside, you can easily discuss with your lecturer. These are the challenges I'm facing as a student attending lectures, so that when you are less busy or when you have internet connection, you can download these materials and read at your convenience. That is what I have to say concerning the question.
Gideon, you still have your hands up. Is there any clarification you want from us?
There's someone, Irene?
Dr. Makuko.
Yes, there's someone who is asking how is the in sharing e-resources. In sharing e-resources, how is the institution handling copyright infringement issues?
Well, for sharing e-learning resources, we try as much as possible to take our teaching materials through a plagiarism system, so to ensure that copyright issues are not infringed in any way before materials go online.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
We have just,
I think we have exceeded the time by far, by 30 minutes. And normally, we also encourage people to log in, because sometimes we have huge numbers of people who want to attend. And so we open up around 20 minutes or before the beginning of the event, so that the people come in and we absorb those whom we can absorb for the particular session. So that's why I'm explaining why we open 20 minutes earlier. But because of this, sometimes also we can't close up pertinent questions that come up. At the same time, we want to accommodate everyone. So this is how we tend to sort of extend, but time is not always adequate. We really want to appreciate you and thank you for the time that you devote with us. And that is a clear indication that what we are trying to give out in terms of assistance as the Association of African Universities is something which is highly relevant and something that is needed by our members and the African higher and tertiary education in order to move on. We continue to pledge our support to you as the Association of African Universities. I just want to say on behalf of the Association of African Universities Secretary General, Prof. Etienne Ehile, who always affords us the opportunity to use the resources to plan to get us to the community which we are supposed to serve. Thank you. We thank you, Prof. Ehile, for supporting the process. We thank the management for also supporting the process, the ICT people and the technical team, Irene and Kwesi and Ankoma, and everybody else who has been rallying behind us to make sure that these programs are successful. We thank you. We want to thank you all, regardless of who you are, for attending these sessions, because now you can go and share with your institutions. We now have institutional workshops in different areas, and you can write to me at vmakuku@aau.org, vmaku@aau.org. You can also use the WhatsApp and Telegram number +233 263 129798 +233 263 129798, and we can organize anything for you. We encourage you to invite others to tomorrow's session, because we know we have both public and private institutions who are concerned about the quality assurance processes at national level, approval of programs, because time means money. Approval of those programs too means money. And also our relevance means money. When we are absolute, it means closing of universities. So let's catch up same time tomorrow for the quality assurance session. That one is paid for, but for attending, you don't pay anything. So we have paid for sessions. We have other sessions that you don't pay for. For example, today's session, we are also going to share the materials with you. But tomorrow's session is also free attendance. But now when you want the recorded materials and the certificate, you pay. So register now. On this platform, I've sent the registration links. You can copy it and paste it, then share it with others. Or you can write to me to request an invitation. Ladies and gentlemen, it has always been my pleasure, Dr. Violet Makuku, the Quality Assurance Specialist, Workshops Coordinator, and Aqua Initiative Project Manager for the harmonization of African higher education, quality assurance, and accreditation. Make a date with us. Wishing you well till next time. Bye-bye to you all.